This is Take a Cue, Season 3, Episode 1.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey there, music educators. Welcome to Season 3 of Take a Cue, the podcast that hits all the right notes when talking about teaching band in elementary, middle, and high schools. I'm Jen Wise.
And I'm Erik Donough. Together, we've got 40 years of experience in New Jersey public schools, and we're here to share our passion, our insights, and a few laughs along the way.
Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, Take a Cue is your backstage pass to inspiring your students, navigating the highs and lows of band directing, and making every rehearsal count.
From innovative teaching strategies to the best ways to handle those tricky moments, we've got tips, stories, and expert advice to keep you motivated and make your program shine.
If you're enjoying what you hear, please remember to give us a 5-star rating and leave a review on your favorite podcast app. Your feedback helps us bring more great content your way.
And let's keep the conversation going. You can interact with us and stay updated on all things Take a Cue by following us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're Take a Cue Podcast. We'd love to hear your thoughts, answer your questions, and see how you're applying our tips in your classroom.
So, grab your baton, tune up those instruments, and join us as we dive into the world of band directing with a fresh perspective and a lot of enthusiasm.
Get ready to take your teaching to the next level. This is Take a Cue. Jen, it was a really fun episode to get together and kind of discuss our beginning of the school year and end of the summer stuff together.
Yeah, this is good. It was good to get back, behind the microphone and yeah, just talk through the first couple of days of school. This was great. So
yes, I love that we got a chance to discuss what happened at the end of the summer, and we also talked about some of the things from our Starting Off Right series last year, and what you and I are looking forward to implementing this year.
Yeah. Yes, previously on Take a Cue. No, just kidding. and yep, we're gonna dive right in with all these great new techniques we have this year. I think we're both really optimistic about the school year, and yeah, this was a nice chat about that. So
yeah, and if any of our listeners are trying to figure out some ideas for their first band rehearsal, I go for a quick walk through my first band rehearsal. Jen hasn't had hers yet, so we'll look forward to hearing about that on another episode. But if you love this episode, make sure that you subscribe. Also, go back and check out all the previous episodes so that you can see all the really cool starting of the school year stuff. We have some, I think episode 3 was our starting off right. Not starting off right. Episode 3 was our Welcome Back to September, setting up for success. There's a Getting Organized episode that was 24. And there's a lot of great info back in our evergreen catalog of episodes.
That's right. And we continue to reference Erik's back to school list. It is still growing.
It always more pages.
More pages. And you'll hear more about it today, too.
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we dive into the episode, Jen?
Yes, let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
Here you go.
Hey, Erik.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Happy beginning of the school year to you.
Oh, same to you. And happy season 3.
Yeah, season 3. Hard to believe this is the 3rd season already.
I know. This is just wild. And also my 7th year in Livingston and my 17th year in the classroom.
Congratulations.
Thank
7th
you.
year at Livingston. Nice. 9th for me.
Okay.
23rd year in the classroom.
Oh, my
yikes.
goodness. Wow. All right. That's pretty wild.
I still get very jittery on the first day.
Do you? The butterflies?
I do. I always feel like I missed something. Like I didn't prepare something and it's going to come back and bite me, even though I have that crazy checklist that we
I know.
talked about.
I was going to say, how could you feel that way? You've got the checklist. No, I get it. That butterfly feeling is there. You meet a lot of new faces, a lot of new students, and everything's a little different, at the beginning of the school year. So yeah. But
so you want to do a quick summer catch up here? Jen and I did see each other. To our listeners, we did see each other once this summer.
We did. And that was
a
fun time. We had a little back to school barbecue and that was really nice. So, and of course we saw each other on here to wrap up our school year, but that's pretty much it.
Yep.
So we were
Yep.
both very busy doing very different things, but
Yes.
well, similar things, but in different places. So yeah.
So how did TJ do over the summer? What'd you guys do? What'd you all do with TJ over the summer?
We did some good stuff. He did his first summer camp. So we did the little rec half-day camp. I know I mentioned it at our
Nice.
last episode, and he loved it. So we ended up signing him up for 4 full weeks, and he made some good friends. Like their kids he'll potentially go to kindergarten with because they're here in town. It's very sweet. So he went back to school this week, pre-K. Oh my gosh. And he was like, oh, we are best friends now. Like the kids he went to camp with. I'm like, oh,
We
that's
are
so
best
sweet.
friends.
Yeah, we are best friends, and we are good friends, and we are
Camp friends are the best.
camp friends. Yeah, you go through some stuff in the summer, so
Yes.
But yeah, no, they did a fun thing on Fridays. Like he was really proud of himself. He got to bring his bike, and they like zoomed around the parking lot, and he had a really really good time at summer camp. So
Nice. Were you able to get away at all?
We did. We did like 3 laps at the beach, which was super fun.
What do you mean 3 laps?
Like we did a week at the beginning of the summer and a week at the middle of the summer. And then at the end of the summer, our place didn't end up getting rented out. So we had
Darn.
I know. Oh man. So yeah, like the night before school started, I was on the beach till like 7.
Whoa.
So yeah. And I showed up the next morning. I was like, I'm physically here at school, but mentally I was still on the beach when we were doing our little first day convocation and everything. So
I think you're allowed. I mean, you mean before PD days?
oh yeah.
Oh, I was going to say,
Yeah.
I think during the school day, the teachers don't like us doing pull-out lessons quite yet. So, that's okay. That's
Yeah.
all right. Oh, but before the PD days, I thought you looked a little sun-drenched.
Oh yeah, thank you. A little
on
sun
our
kiss
PD
there.
days. Here in New Jersey, often school districts will do some PD days before Labor Day.
Yes.
And then the kids will start after Labor Day. At least that was our schedule this year.
It was. And, that was all right. But TJ's school didn't open until the Thursday after Labor Day. So that meant some extra grandpa time. We had to fill in the gaps here and there. So that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, how about you guys? Summer camps? Did you get away? Like what did you do with the girls?
It was slow. The summer was much slower than anticipated.
Okay.
I think I mentioned in our last episode from last season that some of the summer plans that I had been, planning were had to be sort of nixed and changed. We had some family stuff that just kind of everything got moved around. So so that meant there was a lot more time with the kids, and that's a great thing. They also did the town rec camps in the morning, at least through July, and really enjoyed it. It was the first time we've done the rec camp here in town, and definitely not the last, because the kids really enjoyed it, and it was really nice having the mornings available to run errands and clean and do all that other stuff, and maybe even I went to a coffee shop one time in all of July. I went to a coffee shop by myself.
Okay. With the book or your
With the
phone?
book.
Or okay,
With
there
the
you
book.
go. All right.
Yeah, there's this really cool coffee shop here called Ethan and the Bean. If you're in the Morris County area in New Jersey, definitely check it out. And it's good. But anyway, so we did the town pool almost every day after camp, and the kids enjoyed it. They had friends that were there that they saw from camp, and they would just do it every day, and it was kind of rinse and repeat. We did get away for a week. You asked about getting away. We got away with my side of the family to a house in the Poconos for a week, which was really nice. I would definitely go back there, and now it makes me wonder if my retirement plans down the road have to change, because I enjoyed it so much.
Oh wow. Okay, that's cool. That's a big vacation if you want to, make it the next step. That is cool.
But some of the summer plans did change. There didn't end. This was only the second time in 22 years I didn't end up doing band camp.
Wow.
I didn't miss the heat. I didn't miss the sweat. I did miss seeing the kids. One of the reasons I enjoy working with our marching band is because I get to see my 8th graders for more than 1 year. I get to see them progress through. But I'll be with them during the season, so I get to hang out with them and help them put their feet in the right place and run the metronome and do all that fun stuff.
Oh, that's good.
No musical pits this summer, no England trip, so it was a very quiet summer.
Did you do any arranging or anything for marching bands or drill writing or anything like that?
I still did arrange the show for Morristown in Morristown, New Jersey, and their show this year is really cool. It's called Ascent, and it's about climbing Mount Everest, but it's also at a deeper level of overcoming adversity and working hard to get somewhere, and it's great. It's a really cool. Fun show. Really fun show this year, and they finished it at marching band camp. Actually, both bands, Livingston and Morristown, both finished their shows at band camp this year.
That's an accomplishment.
Big time.
That's a big one. That's great.
Yeah, so it was a nice quiet trip. Quiet summer. Have you gotten a chance to play much over the summer?
I did. Yep.
Oh, I'm envious.
I know. I got to do Essex County Summer Players Orchestra, and I didn't know a whole lot about the group last time we talked, but oh my gosh, great musicians. All-star flute section, of course. And
of course,
like I said earlier, in our last episode, I love orchestral playing. I want to do that all the time, and it's so much fun. Our conductor was fabulous, Nathan White. He was so good.
Nate is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, it was great.
I should play an orchestral instrument so I could do that too.
There you go.
Just to be with you and Nate.
Ditch that hunk of metal and no, just kidding. But
can you guys get some Ravel and Gershwin on the program? Jeez.
Oh, listen, we did a little Glazunov, so we did. Oh, it was very cool. Really neat piece, and but that was a really fine concert. It was nice. It was a free concert. The whole family came out, and TJ got to play a part because he got to give the conductor a bouquet at the end of the concert. Aww. And during the applause, he was very proud. He got to be part of it. And then it was almost like at the end of the wedding where at the end of a wedding reception, the couple just kind of you wave them off under their honeymoon. After that, since we had a bunch of family in town, Tom and I took our very first mommy daddy trip since TJ was born.
Oh, where'd you go?
We snuck away to Boston.
Whoa, fun.
Which wasn't the plan. We weren't Tom's from New England. We would never dream of flying to Boston. That that wouldn't even cross our mind. But it happened to be that weekend that that horrible hurricane came right through the Carolinas. We were planning on going to Charleston for a few nights, and it dumped 12 inches of rain. It was a crazy weekend down there, and we changed our plans last minute. Ended up going up to Boston. We biked around, had some great food, saw the sights, and we were talking I went to UConn. I went to school in Connecticut, and in college we'd go in, we'd see the symphony. We'd go in and do this thing. We'd, bring our band to a festival or, and then that was it. That's all you'd see of the city. And Tom kind of felt the same way. It's like we went to a Celtics game once together in college, So I was like, oh, let's actually see Boston. And that was really a whole other thing. So
I love it.
Yeah, the mommy daddy trip was
fantastic.
That was cool. So,
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. You glad you guys were able to get away.
I know.
It's a good thing.
New experience, So, and we got out to hear Tom play a couple times, so that was fun.
In Boston, or is this in New Jersey? Oh, okay.
In New Jersey. Yeah, TJ and I, got to hear Tom play this summer a couple times, and it was good. We got to do that. We brought my 93-year-old grandmother down to Point Pleasant to hear Tom play on the boardwalk. Point Pleasant is one of the shore points down here, and oh man, that was a trip. She was looking around oh, this has changed, but it's not that different, and it was cool to get her down there. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. How about the start of school for TJ? How'd everything worked out? You mentioned that he started a couple days after you.
He did.
How did he do?
Yeah, he did good. He did pretty well. I don't want to grumble too much about the nitty gritty, but we're paying more for daycare this year. Meals are not included this year. You gotta, and it's just so for us, we were grumble, back to daycare.
It ends.
I've heard that. But it's tough. He's a September baby. He's in pre-K. So the expectation is he's going to go to kindergarten after this year, but I just right? So I know this year he's preparing for kindergarten at school, but I'm not sure we want to send him, as being born in the second week of September. I'm not sure we want to send him in a year. We'll have to see,
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's time to figure that out. And he's a smart kid. So,
he is,
if you end up deciding to do it, I'm sure it'll be positive. And if not, it'll also be positive. We get an extra year.
Yeah, except for the bills, just kidding.
Oh, yeah, except for the bills.
So, but, so that's, he really did well, the first couple of days, but it's such a trip because, the first day, it's like, oh, hi, this is TJ. And she's like, oh, Thomas. And I'm like, yeah, his name is Thomas. He goes by TJ. And she's like, well, to prepare for kindergarten, he's going to be writing his name as Thomas. And it's like, oh okay, sure. We could do that. We'll
give him that challenge.
We'll practice writing Thomas. So you got it, but his teacher is we're very lucky to have her. I think it's going to be a great, great year with Miss Lori. She's like,
great.
If you met her on the street, you'd look at her and you'd say, that woman teaches pre-K. She is definitely like, oh, it's so good. She's just got that, aura about her. So we're very, very happy to have her. So yeah, he's going to do great this year. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of daycare bills, mine are done.
I was gonna say you're out. You are free. So.
Yeah, we have Kate just started kindergarten and Maggie just started middle school. But I will say that Kate does have wraparound care, so most of the daycare bills now are just going to the school district. But but yeah, they just two new buildings here.
Okay,
and the kids had a great first week. Maggie came home on Friday and just said, I really wish that I could go to school tomorrow.
Oh, that's sweet.
I don't think I ever felt like that about middle school for 3 years on a Friday. So I'm so glad to hear it.
That's so good. Yeah. And kindergarten is going to be such an adventure this year. That's great.
She's very excited.
Yeah.
We're very excited for her, and she's enjoying it.
Good.
The first day I picked her up at her aftercare, she starts with before care, goes to school, and then as aftercare, I picked her up after about 9 hours at school, and she comes over to me with a big scowl on her face and said, "Why are you so early?"
Oh.
So that does speak well to the fact that she is enjoying school and does not want to leave. So
that's good.
I'm okay with that.
That's really good. I know you forget that, right? After a while, because TJ just he simply asked is this my long school or my short school? Because his first days at summer camp, because they do it at the the elementary school, he was like, that was a short day. That was very short. Are we going back? No, bud. It's a
That's
a
funny. He
day.
recognizes it though. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know. I didn't know he would feel that way. But yeah. So I'm like, no, we're back to the long school day, and he's there 7 to 4 or whatever. Oh yeah. But it's good.
So Jen, we had our PD days. We talked about our book club books.
Our book club. Yes.
Yep. Upbeat. I've still been walking in the morning.
I'm so glad.
3 out of 4 days last week. Amazing. But enough about the PD days, because I know all of our listeners just can't get enough of PD. I want to hear about how school's been. What's going on? How is everything going on the first week of school?
It was pretty positive. Like, the vibe has been really good in my schools. I think everybody's back to it, and just kind of upbeat, happy to be there. I mentioned in our last episode that I have a new administrator at one of my schools, a new principal. She's hitting the ground running. It's going really well. She invited us all to meet with her sometime in the first couple weeks of school. I think I'll do that. I think I'll sit down with her for 15 minutes and just, we'll just talk, get to know each other a little bit. So I appreciate that she's, leaving that space, that time for us. So
I think that's a really good idea for any teachers out there, either with new administrators or as a new teacher in a building, is to kind of sit down with your admin, because more than most other subjects, you're going to be doing something that they may not be so familiar with, and they may not realize how your anticipated schedule or how or all that stuff works. So
Definitely.
getting them in your corner and knowing what's going on is a really good thing. So
Yeah, I think so too. Especially, like I said, that's the building I don't exactly have my own space in right now. I'm on the stage, I'm, sharing spaces. So I think, it's important to just kind of keep on our radar and, just get to know her a little bit. So also in that building, we have a new strings teacher, which is so great. And so good for my students. So, because I'll be teaching one full day of strings, it's the second year kids, and she's going to have all the beginners. So previously, we had another teacher, Carissa, in the building. She could only get a half day with us. So I get, she had a few lesson groups of fourth graders, and I had a few, but now, our new string teacher, Elise, is going to take a full day of strings, and that leaves a little space for me to do more with my schedule, because the band and strings program is just continuing to grow in that building, and that's awesome. So, what I decided,
the music program is just busting out all over in Livingston.
it's wild. Yeah, I mean, you guys are going to hear us talking about our, growing pains all year, like our happy problem, but it's significant. So, one big result of this is that I'm putting my percussionists on my string day.
Okay.
And I decided to do that because I have a classroom that day. I know it sounds funny,
Amazing.
but I'm not on the stage on my string day, so I can actually use the music room. I'll have smart music. I'll have a little sound system to hook up a metronome to. I'll have space for them to spread out. I can leave instruments set up. I feel like it's gonna work out for them a little better than like, oh, let's go in the gym. Oh, let's go on the stage. Meet me here. And no stairs to drag their wheeling percussion kits up and down. It just, they can just kind of do their thing. So I'm hoping that's going to serve them pretty well this year. The only thing that's a little different from what we normally do is that their lesson will be on a different day from our ensemble rehearsal. So
Okay.
I'll have to keep everybody, up to speed on how that goes for us, but it should be good. If I can keep myself organized enough to email parents and say, like just not confuse them with string versus band versus, I just hopefully that'll,
Yeah.
I'll be able to keep up with everybody.
Yeah, that's funny. A lot of parents in our district, well, not a lot, but I always get parents who call band orchestra or just think any instrument is band. So yes, it does get a little confusing with the nomenclature.
Yeah. So I think I just I need to be really upfront with parent communications. Yes, you're not going to be on the same day as the rest of the band or something. I don't know. I haven't figured out the right way to say it, but that's the only thing I'm a little nervous about is that it's not what we normally do. It's not what we've done in the past, but I think it's going to serve them a little better. So that's a big thing going on, for us. How about changes in your building? What are you guys up to?
We got a new administrator, new vice principal, but our principal's the same, and the other vice principal is the same, so they kind of know how everything's going. Scheduling wise, it's pretty much the same as last year, and so that's a good thing. We're happy with the schedule and how it works. Brendan's got a giant band this year. He's got 2 bands. He had to split the 7th grade into 50 and 50. The 8th grade band this year is a bit smaller than last year, only about 53. Definitely more manageable than last year's band, but last year's band wasn't bad. So it's next year it's going to be a different situation. I may have to split as well, depending on how many kids continue. Our band room barely fits 70. And so if it gets above that, we'll have to see about having maybe 2 8th grade bands in addition to 2 7th grade bands next year. But so he's sort of he's piloting the 2 band thing at Heritage, which is, I think, is the first time it's ever happened, 2 in one grade. And we'll see. Our stage is the same size as our band room, so our stage only fits about 70 with percussion. And so it's not like he could go onto the stage and fit 100. It's not going to happen. Right. Also, the chorus rehearses in there. She would love to be in the band room, but we can't fit in the auditorium either. So
yeah. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, so that's kind of what we're dealing with. But mine is pretty much like last year. Smaller band, decent balance. There's a lot of flutes and clarinets. good number of saxes. Brass is a little low. We got about 4 trumpets, 1 horn, 2 trombones, and 2 tubas. So at least I got tubas.
Yeah.
And and bari sax, bass clarinet, got that back there. A couple tenor saxes, and then the percussion is 6. So
Wow.
it's
Okay.
I've had much worse balanced groups. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with how it's going so far, and it's
Okay.
nice to be back with the colleagues. Brendan is great, and Kristen and Karen, the chorus and orchestra teacher, they're fantastic, great colleagues. Really nice to be back and kind of hitting the ground at a walking pace, because we haven't started lessons yet. Teachers don't
Yeah.
like us pulling out kids out of class yet, so it's just a little more planning time.
Yeah.
And getting instruments ready and assigned and lockers and all that good stuff. But
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Just plug in through your list.
yes. So
That's
the list.
The list. Okay.
So I'm kind of curious, Jen. We did a
Yes.
whole lot of episodes last year about starting off right. We brought
Yeah.
a whole bunch of amazing instrumentalists, including you and me, onto the podcast to talk about their main instruments and suggestions on how to start the year off in the right direction. And if any of our listeners haven't checked those out, they're in the 30s. I don't remember exactly the episode numbers, but we kind of started off. Oh yes, there it is.
It's like-
we started off with number 31.
Which was Eric's episode. Yeah. And he talked about beginning saxophone techniques and what to do in those first saxophone lessons. And I'm definitely going to do your paper trick, where you put the paper between the reed and the mouthpiece, and it helps them find where that bottom lip should be and set that embouchure right. So I'm going to be using that one for sure. So
Nice. Yeah, I was going to ask you, are there any things that you remember discussing last year where you might make use of those this year? Anything that you were looking forward to putting into practice?
Yeah, I wish I could go back and see all my beginning saxophones on one day and really review what we talked about, and then just see them all at once, and then pause, and then let's watch the clarinet episode with Jeff Bittner, and then see all my beginning clarinet. I wish I could compartmentalize it this year, because we got so much good information last year that I wish I could just, not have to teach flute, then clarinet, then sax, and down the list in one day, because I really want to get it right now. But, I
understand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like that. You've got to be able to do it all. But, I want to absolutely incorporate Jeff Bittner's approach to tonguing, because that was a little bit eye-opening for me, and I've tried it with a few students since, and it works. So I'm going to do that. So check out episode 32 if you want to know more about that. And then I've really been meditating on this a lot, like John Pelletucci talking about that special role that our low brass students play in the ensemble, and how we got to build them up, and that confidence it takes to be that player. And I'm going to do a piece this year called Slideways.
Ooh, tell me about that.
Who's
it by?
It's by Timothy Lois. He's fantastic. He's an FJH composer. And he, oh my goodness, it's a trombone and slide whistle duet.
Oh,
It's like a little showpiece, feature piece, and they get up front. And so I ordered 8 slide whistles for each school. I'm going to line them all up front, and we're going to have a great time. So, that's, gosh, it's probably 7 or 8 years ago, last time I did that piece, and it was a hit. And the following year I had another 6 or 7 trombone players, sign up. So, I've got a healthy number signed up for each band, and I want to just we're going to pump them up this year and
Awesome.
get them excited. And, I've got my tail between my legs a little bit on this one, because I'm guilty. I said before in episode number 34 with Meredith Coleman talking about oboe, I am guilty of starting students on other instruments and switching them to oboe later. So I will be starting 3 beginning oboes this year, happily, and I'll switch them to cane reeds as quickly as possible. And
oh, that's great. Oh,
yeah,
that's going to
yeah.
make a big difference. Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not ready to let go of the just ease of using those plastic reeds for the first like couple weeks. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure I'm still in the wrong here, but before our first concert, I'm planning to switch them to cane reeds. So
I won't tell Meredith.
thank you. I wonder if she's a listener at this point. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But she'll be coming after me. We're neighbors, you know. So
That's right.
yeah. So those are the big highlights. Know,
Awesome.
how about you? What are you looking out for at school this year?
Well, it's a little different because, most of my kids have been playing for 4 years. So that's not to say that they haven't developed any bad habits or anything like that. I remember, but specifically, I do remember you were talking about in episode 33, which is your flute episode, about where to put the edge of the tone hole on the lip. And sometimes, I think I put it into practice like right away last year with one of my students who was having some trouble getting a decent sound, or at least getting a focus sound out of his flute. And I looked and I saw that you remember you said the edge of the tone hole should be at the edge of the lip, right? Like the little like
Just
part
about
where
here.
where the red goes to, skin color.
Yeah.
And he had it way up on his lip. So we brought it down and like his tone just was immediately fixed. So I'm looking forward to double checking the embouchures of all my flute players, especially this coming year, but all of my instrumentalists.
Okay. Cool.
Just to really, make sure that everybody's got that embouchure set. And so we have some good sounds, coming
Awesome.
across. Because there's always a couple kids, even in 8th grade, that just, haven't really gotten the sound right, and they still love band, and they're not, they're able to play, but they're just having some trouble getting that really characteristic tone. So we're going to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's so good.
Yeah. And, just as we go through it, a lot of it is just kind of seeing what their bad habits have become over 4 years and try to fix them and go back to those starting off right episodes and see if there's any tidbits that I can put into practice.
That's awesome. That's so good.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, and I think you start your rehearsals like with the full group a bit sooner than I do. We don't start until the first week of October. So, what's that going to look like for you? What are those first rehearsals going to be? Or we hope.
Well, they already happened. Oh, they already happened.
Oh, they did. They happened.
yes.
Oh my goodness, that's
Brendan
right.
had band the first day of school, and my band met the second day of school.
Okay.
So the kids come in right away with, with their crazy excitement, and we have to do a band rehearsal on day 2. So, and I mentioned this on, I don't remember what episodes, maybe it's episode 3. I think we talked about starting off right, setting up for September success, I think was what it was called.
Yep.
But, just as a little walkthrough, here's what, if any of our directors are not so thrilled with their first rehearsal, or maybe they have kids come in who don't have instruments yet and they're looking for some ideas. Here's what I do. I'm going to walk through. I'm going to give you the 2-minute version of it. You ready, Jen?
Okay, here we go. Buckle up.
When they come in, I have the lesson plan on the board, which is great. But you should probably, all of our listeners should probably do that as best you can, unless you don't have a board, in which case it becomes more difficult. But I have a projector, so Brendan and I both use Google Slides and have a slide up on the board for everything that they're going to need to know for the rehearsal, and with a nice welcome back graphic. And on the seats, they'll have a little stack of a stack of papers. They have a name tent, and then a syllabus, and then comprehensive warm-ups for revision 2. If any of our listeners are looking for great middle school warm-ups, John McAllister's comprehensive warm-ups revision 2 is fantastic, and it's free. Just go Google it and find it and give it out to your kids, and it's awesome. It goes through so many great things: singing, playing, long tones, flexibility studies, chorales, and different keys and articulation exercises. It's everything you could want to do in a band setting. So they have that on their chair. And then finally their body percussion piece, because most of my kids come in without instruments at the beginning of the year. And so this year we're doing a piece of mine called The Percussion is Lava, aka Don't Touch the Percussion.
Oh, there you go. I like it.
Yeah. And so they come in and they find their names on the chair, so they know exactly where to sit already. I don't have to worry about doing a seating chart or just telling them to sit anywhere. And then they fold their name tents over the back of the stand. And so that way I can call them by name. And So it's good. Immediately we practice what a conductor on the podium means. So the second I get on that podium, I'm still and I'm silent and I see how long it takes them to be quiet. And usually it takes a while.
Okay.
So then we practice how to be quiet.
Okay.
So I tell them to talk, get off the podium, let them talk, and then get back on the podium, see how quickly they can be quiet.
There you
Usually
go.
it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we do that a lot in the beginning of the year, just to remind them that when a conductor is on the podium, we're quiet. That's really important. Also, because they have name tents, I make sure to use a lot of kids' names throughout the rehearsal in good ways. Rarely am I going to call out a kid for doing something wrong with their name at the first rehearsal. I don't want to single them out, but I do, try to get them involved in the conversation as much as possible.
Cool.
And so we go over the day one Google slide presentation. It's the same as the syllabus. Then we go over the safety routines, lockdowns, fire exits, things like that. And then we rehearse the percussion is lava for 15 minutes of the period. First band rehearsal, rehearsing a piece for the concert.
Awesome.
And so that's what the first rehearsal looks like. It's pretty cool.
That's great. That's good. You got it pretty streamlined there. You got a little of everything. I'm always troubled by, when we don't like make music in the first rehearsal. It's just like, gotta be procedure. It's gotta be this. And, So, I love that you're doing, that you're making music in your first rehearsal. And I used those John McAllister warm-ups with my orchestra, last year. It was a big hit. They really, really, like that a lot. So
they have an elementary version, right?
There is an elementary version, yep. And some of my music did get ordered this summer. I had planned some new warm-ups to try, with my band. So maybe I'll go seek out those. I don't want to say I forgot because I was planning on using them again for my orchestra, but maybe I'll go grab the band ones and see, how if that can work for us. So that's great.
And the other cool thing about them is almost all of his pieces or like warm-ups and everything all have like cinematic accompaniments on YouTube that you can play along to as a band or you can play along to as an individual at home.
Yep.
And so, they're really great. If any of our listeners haven't checked them out and are looking for warm-ups, they're really good.
It's really, really great. So
we should try to get them on the podcast sometime.
I know that would be so cool. And that'd be really, really awesome because like I said, my kids loved it. I love that I could post the link to that YouTube play along track and they could slow it down at home. And lessons, I showed them how to slow it down if it was a little too fast, because for some of them it was, and we and I'd slow it down in rehearsal if I needed them to work on different elements of the exercise. So those are great. That's really good. So
definitely.
Cool.
Jen, I only have one more thing to remind our listeners about.
Okay.
And that is book your spring festival and transportation now.
Oh gosh, do it right now.
The buses are already like impossible to get.
Are they
for
really?
the end of May and beginning of June on a Friday? Yeah, it's terrible. Charter buses, especially because they're just nobody can get them. They're already booked. So if you haven't booked your spring festival and transportation, do it now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, really? Wow, that's a big one. And
First 3 things on my list are festival things on my whole to-do list for the year.
That's it. It's you got to get on it right away, even though it's 9 months away. So and to our listeners, if there's something you want to hear about in season 3, please reach out to us because we have a lot of great things planned. Possibly John McAllister. Well,
hey, John, if John's a listener, reach out to us, John.
Reach out. We'll get you on right away. No, but really, we've had a couple people reach out over the summer to say, hey, have you guys talked about this? And we love that because we want to talk about what you want to hear about. So please, come find us out there on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
If you want to email us, my email is Erik, E-R-I-K, @Donough, DONOUGH.net.
And I'm jenwisemusic @gmail.com, 1 N in Jen.
And if you really enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app, rate us 5 stars, and give a review. It helps other people find us and make sure that you're up to date when we release our new episodes.
Yep, absolutely. It helps me, too, because when I subscribe, I'm like, oh, look at that. Erik posted the episode. This is great. So,
Yeah, sometimes it's a surprise to Jen that there's a new episode out.
yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was so fun. Oh, there it is. Like, I get the notifications, and it's in real time. You'll hear about what that we're out there right away. So,
All right, Jen.
this is great.
It was great catching up. I'm so glad
Really
that things started out well, and hopefully they continue off well. And looking forward to getting together with you again in October.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Here's to season 3 and the 24-25 school year.
Yes.
Woohoo.
All right. Get out
Okay.
there.
Make some great music.
Yo.